Smoking Jacket and Z, which they never really fully followed up to that success. It beats for you. You're with Julian on the Brown Note. A quick review of The Courier, which is a recent film with Benedict Cumberbatch, the greatest name in modern cinema. Dominic Cooke's actually very acclaimed in the world of theatre for the last sort of 15 years or so. Many productions, including Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I noticed in the UK. And he did direct a very low-key debut film, but his second film, The Courier, is the first film of this stature that he's directed and does a pretty good job with it as well. He's a businessman with a very sedate home life. He's a bit of a drinker, to be honest, and a bit of a chancer, but he's a good guy and you warm to him. He's certainly not that much of a brigand or a braggart or a show-off. He's not duplicitous. He's sort of teetering on the bridge of the British upper class. And he is a real-life character, Greville Wynne, a British businessman who was recruited by the MI6 to deliver secret messages to secret agent Oleg Penkovsky in the 1960s. Allegedly, pictures that showed, in the end, the positions of nuclear missiles in Cuba, helping to bring an end to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So some high-level stuff. And Oleg Penkovsky was an extremely senior member of the Russian military and secret service. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch gets sucked into this because they know that the government knows that Oleg wants to help what he sees as a Russian administration hurtling with hardliners towards nuclear war with what would become Kennedy's America, and wants to stop it. He doesn't hate America, and he wants Russia to be on a different course. So high-ranking is he, and so high is the Cold War at the time, that they just can't use anyone that is known to have any connection with the intelligence community on any level. They need a blank slate. So given that Benedict Cumberbatch often travels to places like, I can't remember exactly, but like Czechoslovakia or Hungary for business, they facilitate him going to Moscow and other places in Russia to start credible business dealings where he can then meet with these Russian people, including Oleg, and information sort of go backwards and forwards, including the idea that he's going to be, he's going to leave Russia at some point. And what follows is a film of very high-level cat and mouse espionage with a tinkering of, 70s Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but on a more surface-level movie. I did have my worries about this film at times. I wondered whether it would be too Ron Howard, too Spielberg. There's a Spielberg film, which I cannot remember, and I'm just looking it up now, where he did a piece on the Checkpoint Charlie and a famous incident about an American pilot that ended up in an international incident. I'm not going to find it, am I? I can't remember who it was. No. I'll see if I see it. But anyway, that film really didn't do it for me. Oh, here we go. It got nominated for Oscars. It won for the British actress in a supporting role. Bridge of Spies. And I didn't like that film at all. I thought that was a pretty naff film. And it just got cheesier in the final third. It just became so cheesy, so rote, so black and white. And I thought this was going to progress in the same way as Benedict Cumberbatch got into more and more serious situations. But it didn't. It went the opposite way. His characterization here is excellent because you genuinely feel his terror. And he's a businessman. He's a family guy as well, a quiet family man. And he keeps getting put into higher and higher, more and more dangerous level situations. And he's a massive drinker, and this doesn't help. So you really do go along for a ride with him, thinking that actually he's a heroic guy. I wouldn't do it. At this time, if you got caught doing these things, it was a death sentence or it was 10 years in Gulag. In the end, he did get caught and suffered greatly through torture and everything. And after a few years, they managed to trade for him and get him back to the UK. And he is a hero. And I think one of the nice things about this film is that his heroism is something that is untarnished by working for the government. His ideals of what he's working for are relatively pure. And so are the Russian guys. They both feel that they're working for a better world. It would be different if it was a spy or if it was a soldier or if it was somebody that had bought into the government's rhetoric particularly. But here was an ordinary Joe that got caught up in a huge international incident and one of the biggest stories of the era. And I thought the director did a really good job. Like I said, I felt like it was going to get a bit cheesy in the last third. Instead, it got really dark. Like very, very dark, and that was the right time to pull the rug from under us and realise that talking nicely and politely in rooms wasn't the fate that was becoming for this guy. And it gets pretty brutal and dark towards the end before some light comes back. So I thought this was a really satisfying and very enjoyable film, only a short review, but well worth catching. Benedict Cumberbatch's performance is excellent because, unlike his Doctor Strange character, he doesn't give off heroic vibes where he's impenetrable. He's a very vulnerable guy. He's hugely relatable and very, very likeable. I loved his performance here, and I thought Dominic did a good job in directing and helming it without ever getting in the way of anything. And the fact that it got into its heaviest, most intense passages towards the end, which was the wake-up call that was coming that you knew was in the post. I thought he did a really good job. So I'm going to give it a pretty solid 8 out of 10 for The Courier. Well worth catching.